Hello friends, I hope you are all doing good. So welcome to a brand new video. From today onwards we'll be revising the topics of GST. First we'll do the revision of GST, all the different topics. On daily basis I'll be releasing one videos on the different topics which are there under GST. This will be specifically for those who are writing your examination in November 2023. Yeah, so we'll be starting our revision. I'll be using my chart material for revising purpose. So if anyone wants this chart material, you'll have to place an order. Apart from that, if anyone wants, see, whatever is there in this chart material is already written by me in my handwritten notes are there. So it is mostly similar. This handwritten notes is the notes which I am using in my classroom. This is the notes which I have written in my classroom. So anyone wants these notes, you can directly you can download it from the Telegram channel. You can take this from Telegram channel, and also I will be uploading my GST material. This GST material, a completely amended material, this also will be uploaded on my Telegram channel. So anyone wants to download this and take a printout of this notes or the handwritten notes, anything, you can take a printout of the same. But I will be using the chart material for revision purpose. If anyone wants this chart material, you have to place an order for that. You can obviously send me a message on 9620022004. This is my number. But this would suffice. The handwritten notes would suffice for your study purpose, for your examination purpose. This includes all the different chapters under GST law. So almost till the chapter of input tax credit, it is completely handwritten, and the notes which you are going to refer is completely amended. It is applicable specifically for you, your syllabus, which is November 2023 examination, or for CMA students if you are writing in December 2023 examination. For your syllabus only this particular material is made available. Yeah, with this being said, now how will this revision happen, sir? How will this revision happen? As I said, I will be using the chart material for revision purpose. Now in this revision, what we are going to do is, we are going to revise the topic. So there will be three aspects in this. Say we are going to first revise the topic, and then the revision will be completely amended as whatever the changes has been made in the law. Then I will be discussing about the amendments which are there in this topic. What are the different amendments which is made in this topic, and we will be taking care of some questions. I'll just take some questions, important questions which can be asked from respective chapters. We will be discussing that also. So what are the different types of questions which can be asked in the examination from this chapter, and what were the questions which was already asked in the examination. During the course of our discussion, I'm also going to inform you about that. So this is how the revision videos will be made. So on daily basis, individual chapters will be uploaded starting from today, wherein first we will revise, and then we are going to see if there is any amendment in that particular chapter, and then the questions, we'll do some questions with respect to some that particular chapter. So with this being said, I hope this clarifies all the questions, also the doubts which may arise in your mind. So with this being said, let me straight away start my discussion on this beautiful topic called as Introduction to GST. I will also tell you the weightage of this all the different chapters as per my limited knowledge which I have, or the questions which I have seen in the past examination. Almost from last say there are 10 attempts which is already over. So I have we have for reference the question paper of last 10 attempts. So I will be using that as a reference, and I will also be telling you what is the weightage of these chapters. So first chapter for our discussion, let us, without wasting our single minute, let us not waste even a single second, and let us straight away start the discussion on the first topic called as Introduction to GST. Nice and beautiful topic. What is the name of the topic, sir? Introduction to GST. So this is the first chapter of your syllabus. This is the chapter which gives you an introduction to this particular law, this beautiful law called as GST. This beautiful law called as GST, this chapter gives the introduction, and this can be referred by CA and CMA intermediate students. These videos can be referred by CA and CMA intermediate students. For both of them, the GST is for 40 marks only. For CA students, it is the last attempt. The last attempt for which the GST will be for 40 marks, and the last attempt for CA students who are writing examination in old syllabus. So make sure that you utilize this last attempt in a proper manner, because normally whenever there is a new syllabus which is coming, whenever there is a last exam of a particular old syllabus, we have normally seen that the correction criteria of the institute will normally be little lenient. It will not be completely lenient. Normally it will be lenient. That is what we have seen, because they feel like, okay, let us push who are already there in the old syllabus. Let us not fail them and transfer again to the new syllabus, etc. So the normally, if you study well, obviously if your study is important, sir, I have just studied 40 marks GST, sir, I will write my examination, you will not clear. So you should give 100, I mean the coverage should be your entire syllabus. Write it proper, read it properly, make repeated revisions, because revision is only which is the thing which is going to help you. One day before examination, you will be having just 1 hour, 1.5 days for studying your entire syllabus. So in that 1.5 hours, what will you able to complete? That is what is more relevant. That will give weightage for your examination. That is what you can actually write in your examination. And while writing also, you have just 3 hours. Please make sure that you manage your time properly. Managing that time in 3 hours is very important. What you have studied for last 6 months is of no use. The different topics, chapters which you have studied for last 6 months is of no use if you are not able to write about all the different topics, or if you are not able to write that in your examination. So make sure, if you want to obviously remember everything in these 3 hours and write, you should have good speed in writing, plus you should remember the provision. Now how will I remember the provision, sir? You will be able to remember the provision only by revising it. You know this famous Bruce Lee quote, I am not afraid of the 10,000 different kicks which you know. I am afraid of that one particular kick which you have practiced for 10,000 times. So similarly, this applies for your examination also. What you have studied one time, say you would have studied all the different chapters one time, okay, when we talk about taxation, there are almost around 24 to 28 topics, I think. So there are totally 28 topics. Now all the 28 topics, if you have studied for one time, it is not going to serve any purpose. But if out of these 28 topics, if you have studied 20 topics also completely, and if you have revised this 20 topic on repeated basis at least 3 times, then the chances of you clearing the exam with exemption is very high. So you will clear the examination with exemption. Okay, so this is not only for this paper, other papers also. Yeah, so let me not waste your time anymore. Let me straight away start my discussion. So the first topic, the first chapter name is what, sir? Introduction to GST. From the exam point of view, the weightage of this chapter is 2 marks, or sometimes they can ask for 3 marks. Sometimes they can ask for 3 marks. So the weightage of this chapter is more, it is more concerned with your MCQ point. Majorly the questions will be asked on your MCQ, and sometimes they ask a theory question. Say they would have, they ask a theory question. We'll see what are those theory questions which they normally can ask. So this is the importance of this chapter. Yeah. So let us straight away start our discussion on this chapter called as Introduction to GST. Now in this introduction to GST, they have first introduced us to the subject called as tax, then what is this indirect taxes, then what is this GST, and what is the different aspects of GST law, etc. So first, what do you mean by tax? Sir, tax is a pecuniary burden which is laid upon individuals and property owners. See, government needs money. Government is doing various different activities on daily basis. Government needs money for doing those different activities. This money which government needs, government is taking from us in the form of tax. In the form of tax, it is taking this money, and it is not voluntary basis, something which you are paying on voluntary basis. No. It is a compulsion. It is a compulsion. If the law says that there is a mobile phone which is taxable at 18%, you should pay the taxes. If the law says that if your income is more than 2.5 lakh, if your income is more than 5 lakhs, you will have to pay the taxes to me, you will have to pay the taxes. So this tax is compulsion. This is a compulsory extraction by the law. Then this chapter talks about direct difference between direct taxes and indirect taxes. They say that there are two types of taxes. One is called as direct taxes, another one is called as indirect taxes. So direct taxes, what happens in case of direct tax? Incident impact is on same person. What happens in case of indirect tax? Incident impact is on two different person. Direct taxes, incident impact same person. Indirect taxes, incident impact two different person. Direct tax is your income base. That is a tax which is collected on your income, whereas indirect taxes is a tax on goods and services. So if there is a specific goods which is taxable, then you will have to pay the taxes. If there is a goods which is not taxable, you don't have to pay the taxes. It does not matter with your whether you are making any profit by selling those goods or not. So it is a tax on goods and services. Then direct taxes are normally progressive in nature, indirect taxes are regressive in nature. Sir, what do you mean by this progressive in nature, regressive in nature? Direct taxes says as and when your income increases, the amount of tax which you have to pay will also increase. But indirect tax says, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you are a Mukesh Ambani or a beggar. I don't care how much you are earning. I don't care how much you are earning. A beggar may have to pay less income tax, whereas a Mukesh Ambani will have to pay more income tax. But in case of indirect taxes, it is not like that. I don't care whether you are a beggar or you are Mukesh Ambani. Irrespective of your earning capacity, I will collect the same amount of taxes from you. Beggar purchases a Parle-G biscuit, Mukesh Ambani purchases a Parle-G biscuit. The amount of tax which they both have to pay will be same. They both will have to pay the same amount of tax. And example of direct taxes is income tax, and indirect taxes it is GST customs. Now next point is with respect to features of indirect taxes. Once a question was asked in this particular point, features of indirect taxes or features of GST. The question which was asked was features of GST. There is no question in your entire syllabus which says features of GST. So features of GST is nothing but features of indirect taxes, because GST is an indirect taxes. Now who is going to win the IPL this year? Tell me, who is going to win the IPL this year? Sir, RCB will win, sir. Who is going to win the IPL this year? Sir, RCB will win, sir. Sir, R for important source of revenue to the government. C for taxes on commodities and services. B for shifting of burden. W for wider tax base. I for inflation nature. N for no perception of direct pinch. And S for promotes social welfare. R for regressive in nature. What are the features of indirect taxes, sir? RCB will win, sir. What are the features of indirect taxes? RCB will win, sir. R for important source of revenue to the government. C for taxes on commodities and services. B for shifting of burden is happening. Then W for wider tax base. I for inflation in nature. N for no perception of direct pinch. And S for promote social welfare. And R for it is regressive in nature. It is regressive in nature. Then there are some important articles of our constitutional. There are some important constitutional provisions with respect to taxation which we have to know for understanding GST. Now there is an article called as Article 265 says Article 265 which says that no tax can be levied or collected unless there is an authority of law. So if you want to levy any tax, it says government. If you want to levy any tax, if you want to collect any tax, then you should first take the permission from me. If I am giving you the permission, then only you can collect the taxes. Article 245 says the central government or the parliament has the power to make law for whole or any part of India. Similarly, the legislature of the state or the state government has the power to make law for whole or any part of that particular state. Then Article 246, the Article 246 says that I have something called as I have a schedule called as schedule number 7. In this schedule number 7 there are totally 3 lists: list 1, list 2, list 3. That is union list, state list and concurrent list. In union list, whatever is there in respect of that law can be made exclusively by the central government. In state list, whatever is there in respect of that law can be made only by the state government. And in concurrent list, whatever you are going to find in respect of those items, the law can be made by central government as well as by the state government. Now nowhere in our entire constitution there was not even a single article in our entire constitution which gave the power to both the central government and state government to jointly come together and collect the taxes. See, there were the union list gave the power to central government to collect taxes directly. We gave power to central government to collect taxes on few items like income tax. Revenue goes to the central government. Then custom duty goes to central government. Then the tax which you are paying, excise duty or the service tax, etc., which were there before, they all are collected by whom, sir? Central government. Similarly, VAT, then entertainment tax, then tax on lottery betting, gambling, etc. were collected by the state government. So there was not even a single article, in our entire constitution which gave the power to both central government and state government to jointly come together and pay the taxes. It is because of this reason an amendment was supposed to be made in our constitution, and there are various different articles which were introduced. One such article which was instituted was Article 246A. An important article from your exam point of view, Article 246A. Article 246A is the article which gave the power to central government and the state government to jointly come together and make law with respect to GST, goods and service tax. And it also said that central government will have the exclusive power to make law in respect of interstate supply. Please note, an amendment was made in our constitution. Sir, how did this amendment come into existence? This amendment came into existence by Constitution's 101st Amendment Act 2016. So, and the Constitution's Amendment Act was passed, Constitution 101st Amendment Act 2016. By this amendment, these three articles were introduced in the constitution, in our constitution. So Article 246A gave the power to central government as well as state government, that is the parliament as well as the legislature of the state, to jointly come together and make law in respect of goods and service tax. And it also said that central government has the exclusive power to make law in respect of interstate supply. So in respect of interstate supply, I will give the power only to central government so that it can make the law. Now, sir, if any act is required to be passed, there will be a bill which will be introduced in the upper and lower houses of parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. So this act came into existence by way of a bill called as Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill. Constitution 122nd Amendment Bill was introduced in the houses of parliament, and then it received president assent and it became Constitution 101st Amendment Act. So these 2 points are important for your MCQs and this article also. Then Article 269A. Now since Article 246A that I said that I give the power to both central government and state government to jointly come together and make law in respect of GST, and it also told that central government will have exclusive power to make law in respect of interstate supply. It was this article 269A which said that in case there is an interstate supply, central government will collect the taxes on that interstate supply. Whatever taxes is collected by central government will be apportioned between the central government. It will be divided between the central government and the consumer state, the place where the goods are going, the place the state who is consuming the goods. And the tax which I am going to levy for interstate supply will be called as IGST. And how do I determine whether IGST will be levied, etc., which state government will take the revenue, etc.? Meaning that is, in simple words, the provision with respect to place of supply will also be determined or made by the central government. Then one more important article, important from your MCQ point of view as well as your theory question point of view, Article 279A. Article 279A talks about what, sir? Article 279A talks about GST Council. Article 279A talks about GST Council. Now, this article told that within 1 month of this Constitution 101st Amendment Act, the President of India should constitute a council called as GST Council. So the GST Council came into existence, or it was constituted on 15th of September 2016. And the GST Council is what, sir? It is a joint forum of center and state, meaning there are members from central government, there are members from state government. They will jointly come together and they have made this, a council has been made. Sir, why, sir? See, because GST law which is there, GST law is GST is a tax which is levied by both central government and state government simultaneously. So it is a law which is applicable for entire India, including the different states, including all the different states. Meaning what, sir? Now both central government and state government will have to come together and make the law. If the central government and state government both have to come together, then for that reason, because they have to come together and make the law, they have formed a council called as GST Council, wherein it will consist of the Union Finance Minister, who will be the chairperson of GST Council. Then it will consist of the Minister in charge of Revenue and Finance of central government, and then it will consist of the minister who are in charge of Revenue, Finance, Taxation, etc. of the state government. These ministers will be the members of GST Council. These ministers will be the members of GST Council. But the chairperson of GST Council will be the Union Finance Minister, that is the Finance Minister of India. Now, sir, what is this GST Council going to do, sir? This GST Council is going to give recommendations. So one question which they normally ask is, what is the constitution of this GST Council? It consists of Union Finance Minister, Minister in charge of Revenue and Finance, Minister in charge of Revenue, Finance and Taxation, etc. And what are the recommendations which the GST Council can give? GST Council can give recommendations in respect to what are the different types of taxes which which are required to be subsumed under GST law. What are the different types of tax rates which we have to have under GST law? What are the different goods and services which will be exempt under GST law? What should be the limit for taking registration under GST law? Then what will be the date from when the tax will be levied on HP van, that is high speed diesel, petroleum, crude, motor spirit, etc. So all these recommendations will be given by GST Council. See, GST Council will give recommendations. Once that recommendation is accepted, it becomes a law. Now, sir, you said GST Council is going to give a recommendation. Sir, how is it going to give a recommendation? By conducting a meeting. They are going to have a meeting. They are going to conduct a meeting, and accordingly they are going to decide what are the different things which we are supposed to do in a particular meeting. Normally this meeting was before conducted every month, but now it is in 45 days to 2 months once this GST Council meeting is happening. So in this meeting, whenever there is a meeting, there are minimum number of members who are required to be present in a meeting to call that meeting as valid. So whenever there is a meeting, in your law also you would have studied that meeting will have a specific quorum of the meeting. What do you mean by quorum, sir? Minimum number of members who are required to present in that particular meeting. So under GST Council, if you want to treat that GST Council meeting as a valid, then half of the total number of members should be present, meaning whatever total number of members are there, half of that should be present in that GST Council meeting, and accordingly that only then it will be a valid meeting, and then they are going to decide about the matter, whatever they want to decide. Sir, how will a decision be passed? The decision will be passed by taking majority. How will I take this majority, sir? Majority of 3/4 of weighted votes of members who are present and voting. Majority of 3/4 of weighted votes of members who are present and voting. Sir, 3/4 of weighted votes means what, sir? Meaning I am going to assign a vote. First of all, I am going to take the votes of the members who are present in the meeting and who are voting in the meeting. Then I am going to assign votes to these members. Depending upon whether you are a central government member or a state government member, we are going to assign the weight. Sir, what is the weight? Weight assigned to central government is 1/3 and weight assigned to state government is 2/3. And once I assign the weight, I will get an amount. For that I am going to apply 3/4. So how is a decision passed, sir? Majority of 3/4 of weighted votes of members present and voting. Members present and voting. 3/4 of the weighted votes. Weight assigned to central government is 2/3 and central government it is 1/3 and the state government it is 2/3. Yeah. Then, sir, what was the reason for introduction of GST, sir? This also is a question which was asked twice in your examination. Please note, these questions were asked at the beginning stage of GST law. Okay. Deficiencies in existing tax regime. What were the disadvantages or the deficiencies in the existing tax regime? The existing tax regime means the tax system which was there before GST law. Or they may ask a question was, what was the need for GST in India? What was the need? Need is nothing but the disadvantages of the taxes which were there before GST law. What used to happen, sir? Before GST law, double taxation was happening. They were treating a particular item as both goods and services and taxing. There was no clarity at all. For example, your SIM card which is there. Now SIM card, whether it is treated as goods or services, there was no clarity. For example, you go to a restaurant, you are having some food over there. Now whether that restaurant is supplying you food or it is supplying you services, there was no clarity. Under GST it is very clear now. It is under GST they have specifically told what it is, but there was no clarity before GST law. Because there was no clarity before GST law, they were levying both service tax as well as VAT. So double taxation was happening. Then CENVAT, that is central value added tax, and state level VAT, the set off of one against another was not possible. See, basically excise duty was excise duty is also called as CENVAT. Excise duty is also called as CENVAT. Basically central government were collecting VAT as well as state government was also collecting VAT. Now basically basically they were both on goods only, but set off of one with another was not available, meaning input tax credit of this was not available. And a single state government was collecting multiple types of tax. One single state government was collecting luxury tax, it was collecting sales tax or VAT, it was collecting entry tax or purchase tax, it was collecting tax on lottery betting and gambling, meaning a single state government. See, if you are a single state, then why are you collecting all these different types of taxes? Why don't you collect a single tax? That single state government also was collecting multiple types of taxes. And the VAT which was there, VAT was not integrated with service tax, meaning the credit of VAT was not integrated with the tax which you pay on the services which is provided, etc. So VAT on goods and services was not integrated with tax on services. And there is one more point called as the CST which you are paying was not VATable. CST which you are paying is not VATable. Then next question is benefits of GST. Again, once this question was asked with respect to benefits of GST. Now, what are the benefits of GST, sir? What are the different advantages because of GST law? Because of GST law, now there is an one nation, one tax. There is a creation of unified national market. Entire India, there is a simple single law. Then GST is going to boost the Make in India initiative of the government of India. Sir, how is it going to boost Make in India initiative? Before, what used to happen, we had different types of taxes. Because we had different types of taxes, a person was hesitating to manufacture something, he was hesitating to make some products in India, so they were mostly importing and they were selling it in India. But because there is a single tax, they don't have to worry about the different types of registration which they have to take. They have to take a single registration. So Make in India initiative will be boosted. Enhanced investment and employment. Now, because of introduction of GST, the investment also will increase in India. Sir, what do you mean by this enhanced investment and employment? Now, what is going to happen? Almost 165 countries throughout the world are following GST as their indirect tax system. Almost all these 165 countries which are there throughout the world, they have indirect taxes with them, and the indirect tax system which they are following is what, sir? It is GST. So now a person who is not in India, who is coming from outside India, will not hesitate to come to India. Why, sir, he will not hesitate? Because he knows that tax which is there in our country and the tax which is there in India is same. Before, there were 10-15 different types of taxes. He was hesitating. If I go over there, I don't understand, people may harass me over there, the government may harass me over there. But now, because the law is same in their country and our country, obviously here and there will be some changes. They will feel that yes, we can invest in India. Now, if they invest in India, obviously the employment opportunity will also increase. Ease of doing business because of introduction of GST law, the business doing is very easy now, because one single type of registration, and then you get credits, input tax credit, you don't have to worry. So opposite person has to upload, only then you can take credit. So everything is automatic now. Certainty in tax administration. Sir, certainty in tax administration, the administration of the tax is very simple now. Before, what used to happen, I used to physically visit the department, I used to physically go to the department for filing my returns, I used to physically go to the department for taking registration. Now everything is automated procedure with greater use of IT. Everything is automatic now. Everything will be system generated now. You want to apply for registration, go to the common portal. You want to file your return, go to the common portal. You have some query, go to the common portal. You want to ask for some clarification, go to the common portal. Everything which you have to do under GST law is online. Reduction in compliance cost. Because of introduction of GST law, the compliance cost of the different people who are doing business has reduced. Why, sir? Simple. See, before I had to take registration under 5 different types of laws. Now I am taking registration only in one law. Before, assuming I paid 5,000 rupees under each law, I would have paid 25,000 for my complaints. Now, if I pay 10,000 also or 15,000 also, I don't have to worry. Because anyways, the law is one single law. I don't have to worry about these different types of complaints. See, before you used to pay 25,000, now you are paying only 10,000 or you are paying only 25,000. So reduction in complaints cost. And mitigation of ill effects of cascading. Because of introduction of GST, cascading effect has been completely eradicated. Not completely, maybe one case it will be there, which is composition. But yeah, cascading effect has been eradicated. It has Reduce the cascading effect. Sir, how sir cascading effect is reduced? Cascading effect means tax on tax. Because of introduction of GST, there is no tax on tax which is levied. There is no tax on tax which is levied. Beneficial to small traders and entrepreneurs. GST is also beneficial to small traders and entrepreneurs. Sir, how is it beneficial to small traders and entrepreneurs, sir? Now the limit under GST law is 20 lakh. If you want to you have to take registration only if your aggregate turnover crosses 20 lakh. Some states it is 10 lakhs, and some cases you can also take the advantage of 40 lakh rupees, that we'll see in our registration chapter. Apart from that there is something called as composition scheme. So small traders and entrepreneurs, they can take advantage of all those different schemes, so it is beneficial to them. Then next is concept of GST. Concept of GST in India, or concept and principles of GST in India. One type of question which they ask in examination. What is the concept of GST in India, sir? What type of GST we have followed? What is the principles of GST which is there in India? First, GST is a value added tax. The GST which you are paying is a tax which is paid by you on the value addition, meaning only if there is a value addition then you will have to pay the taxes. Then GST eliminates cascading effect. Under GST law, because of introduction of GST law, you are getting credit at each and every stage of supply chain. Because you are getting credit at each and every stage of supply chain, the cascading effect, the tax on tax system is only gone. So GST offers comprehensive and continuous chain of tax credit. And under GST law, the burden is on final consumer. No one has to pay the taxes from his own pocket. Say when we talk about a supply chain having manufacturer, then wholesaler, retailer and final consumer, manufacturer is going to collect the tax from the he is going to shift the burden and collect the tax from the wholesaler. Wholesaler is going to shift his burden and collect the tax from the retailer. Retailer is going to shift the burden and collect the tax from the final consumer. So what is happening over there, sir? The tax burden is on final consumer. The tax burden is on final consumer. Now because of GST, we have uniform tax structure throughout India. Throughout India, we are following a single type of tax. So single type of law is there. Any person who wants to do business, he does not have to worry that if I say I am doing my business in Karnataka, I have Priya Sadis in Bangalore. Now tomorrow I want to start a branch in Jaipur. I will not have to worry. Tomorrow I want to start a branch in Mumbai. I don't have to worry. Tomorrow I want to start a branch in Kolkata. I don't have to worry, because the law which is there over there also is same. I don't have to worry about what are the different registrations which I have to take, because it is same. Then GST is a destination based consumption tax. GST is a destination based consumption tax. Means what, sir? GST law, the tax revenue will go to that. If you are making supply from one state to another state, the tax revenue will go to that state where the goods are destined to, where the goods are actually consumed. So now normally an MCQ question will be asked. Normally a question will be asked in your MCQ. What is the question which they ask in your MCQ, sir? They ask a question that what is GST? GST is a consumption based tax. And India follows what type of what principle of GST? It follows destination based principle. Please note, normally they will give an option called as, say it follows origin based principle, destination based principle, destination based consumption principle. You should write, your answer should be destination based principle, and GST is a consumption based tax. GST is a consumption based tax. And India has adopted what type of GST model has India adopted? India has adopted dual GST model. India has adopted what type of model, sir? Dual GST model. Important for MCQ as well as your question can also be asked. This is also an important point. Dual GST model. Why, sir? Basically, in India, we have federal structure. Sir, what is this federal structure? The power has been divided to central government and state government. Since the power has been divided to central government and state government, meaning there is central government also, and there's each and every state can make their own government. So a law was supposed to be made which can benefit each of the government. The GST is collected by both of them, central government also and state government also, in a single transaction on a single transaction simultaneously. So for that reason, we have adopted what type of model, sir? Dual GST model. Now, what are the different types of taxes which is levied under GST law, sir? Please note, GST extends to whole of India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, CGST. First is CGST. CGST means what, sir? Central Goods and Services Tax. It is collected by the central government. On what is it collected? It is collected by the central government on all the intrastate supply of goods or services which you are making. Then we have GST, which is called as State Goods and Services Tax. Who is collecting it? State government is collecting it. When is it collecting, sir? Whenever you are making intrastate supply of goods or services. Then we have IGST. IGST means Integrated Goods and Services Tax. Please note, it is integrated goods and services tax. Sir, who is collecting this? Central government is collecting this IGST. And sir, this IGST, once it is collected, it will be apportioned between central government as well as consumer state. Then we have UTGST, Union Territory Goods and Services Tax. Sir, who is collecting it? Union Territory without state legislature. Union Territory without state legislature. Please note, normally we have totally 8 union territories in India. Normally, how many union territories are there? Normally we have how many union territories, sir? We have 8 union territories in India, which is Puducherry, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, and Andaman Nicobar. Then we have Daman and Diu, Dadar Nagar Haveli, Ladakh, Chandigarh and Lakshadweep. So these are the 8 union territories. But for the purpose of GST law, please note, there is a definition of state which is given under GST law, which says state includes union territory with separate legislation. It says what, sir? State includes union territory with separate legislation. Meaning what? Normally they are all, in general word, they are all called as union territory only. But these 3 union territories, which is Puducherry, Delhi and Jammu and Kashmir, these 3 union territories can make their own government over there. Delhi has a government, AAP government, Arvind Kejriwal. Puducherry has its own government, Rangaswamy is the chief minister over there. Jammu and Kashmir, as of now, they are not having their government, but they can make their own government. So for the purpose of GST law, though these three are union territories, they will be called as what, sir? State. So whenever you make an intrastate supply in these union territories, you are going to pay something called as CGST and SGST. Apart from that, Andaman, Nicobar, Diu, Daman, Dadar, Nagar Haveli, Ladakh, Lakshadweep and Chandigarh, they are called as union territory. So whenever an intrastate supply is made over there, you will have to pay a tax called as CGST and UTGST. You will have to pay a tax called as CGST and UTGST. Yeah. Then next point is with respect to what are the different taxes which got merged with GST. So the different taxes which got subsumed or merged with GST is your central excise duty or additional excise duty. Central government taxes, we are talking about the central government taxes which got merged with GST. It is central excise duty or additional excise duty, service tax, excise duty on medical and toilet preparations, CVD and special CVD, that is countervailing duty and special countervailing duty, central sales tax, and different surcharge and cess which was collected on supply of goods or services. Then state taxes which got merged with GST. Sir, what are the different types of state taxes which got merged with GST? VAT, value added tax or sales tax, luxury tax, and then entertainment taxes, except the entertainment taxes which was collected by local bodies, tax on lottery betting and gambling, entry tax or purchase tax, or tax on advertisement, and different surcharge and cess which was collected by state government on supply of goods or services. Sir, are there any taxes which did not get merged with GST? Yes, there are some taxes which did not get merged with GST. Which are they? Basic custom duty, property tax or stamp duty, electricity duty, excise duty on alcoholic liquor for human consumption, and entertainment taxes which was collected by local body. Then the last 2 points with respect to GST is your GST common portal. Sir, what is this GST common portal, sir? GST common portal, see, normally GST is a tax law. For entire India, there is only one tax system. So if there should be only one tax system, then there should be only one common place where all these people can meet, all the different state people can meet, all the state government members can meet, that is all the departments can meet, all the registered person can meet, all the chartered accountants or the tax consultant, etc., they can meet. So GST law, they had to make a common place for everyone. That common place is called as this common portal. This is your goods GST common portal. This is also called as GST common portal. It is managed by a company called as GSTN. It is designed by a company called as GSTN. GSTN GSTN means Goods and Services Tax Network. So it is a special purpose vehicle which is specifically, it is a Section 8 company, not for profit organization, which was specifically made for GST related matters. Now what is this common portal, sir? GST common portal is an electronic portal which is designed and managed by a company called as GSTN. What is the common portal? What is the common portal name, sir? It is www.gst.gov.in. Now the question is they ask in the examination is what are the functions of this common portal. You can file your registration application, you can file your returns, if you want to make the payment of taxes, if you want to create the payment tax challan, etc., or if you want to settle the IGST, etc., that will all happen in this common portal. Apart from that, there are few other points in your first chapter. One, that France was the first country to introduce GST law. Then there are totally 11 special category states. There are totally 11 special category states. In future chapters you will see that in respect of these states there are different types of laws which are made. Which are these 11 special category states, sir? Yes, Nagaland, ma'am, through Michael Jackson. Yes for Sikkim, N for Nagaland, M for Manipur, Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Tripura, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Manipur, and J for Jammu and Kashmir. Tobacco and tobacco products, GST as well as pre-GST taxes are levied, and on alcoholic liquor for human consumption GST can never be levied, and on HP man, high-speed diesel, petroleum, crude, motor spirit, aviation turbine fuel and natural gas, on this HP man GST will be levied from a future date. It will be levied from a future date. And yeah, one more point is there, I think, in your first chapter, because there is an amendment with respect to that, so I'll just write. So there is something called as GST compensation cess. GST compensation cess. Now GST compensation cess. What is this GST compensation cess, sir? Now see, because of introduction of GST, many state governments were losing the revenue, because before GST law the revenue was origin based. The tax was going to that state where the goods were originating from or where the manufacturing activities was happening. But under GST law it is consumption based. Tax will go to that state where the goods are consumed or where the goods are sent. Now because of this, various state governments oppose GST law. Now because various state government oppose GST law, they oppose GST law to compensate the loss of revenue. Why did they oppose? Because of introduction of GST they are going to lose the tax revenue. So to compensate this loss of revenue, the government decided to collect, the GST Council decided to collect something called as GST compensation cess. They decided to collect something called as what, sir? GST compensation cess. So this GST compensation cess was supposed to be collected for a period of 5 years from the date of introduction of GST. GST was introduced in entire India from 1st of July 2017, correct? It was introduced from 1st of July 2017. This date is also called as appointed date. In case of Jammu and Kashmir, it started from 8 July 2017, correct? Now this compensation cess was supposed to be collected for a period of 5 years starting from 1st July 2017. So the last date should have been 1st July 2022, but this date has been extended. It has been extended up to what date, sir? 31st of March 2026. So GST compensation cess will be collected till 31st March 2026. This is the only amendment, if you want to call it as an amendment. It is the only amendment in this particular chapter, which is chapter number 1. So what is this amendment telling? GST compensation cess will be collected till 31st March 2026. So this is all about your first chapter. We have discussed we have revised the first chapter, discussed about the amendment which is there, and the questions we'll see now. Now what are the different questions which they can ask in this chapter? Basically all theoretical questions only will be asked. First chapter is completely theory, meaning they will not even ask case study based questions from this first chapter. So they can if they want to ask, they can ask a question on the benefits, difference between direct and indirect taxes, but mostly they will not ask. Then silent features of indirect taxes, or what are the features of GST. So it is RCB will win, sir. Then once this question was asked, what was the need of GST in India, or what are the deficiencies in existing indirect tax system, so which we have already seen the deficiencies of existing indirect tax system. Then yeah, this is an important question because they had asked twice in your examination. Discuss dual GST model as an introduction, meaning, or why GST has adopted dual GST model. So for this the answer is that India has adopted dual GST model because of its federal structure. The tax is central government and state government simultaneously. Because of this dual GST model, what will happen, sir? Central government and state government will simultaneously concurrently levy GST on taxable goods and services. IGST will be levied in case you are making an interstate supply. IGST will be levied by central government, and then it is apportioned between to central government and state government, and it extends to whole of India. Then what is the concept and principle of GST? GST is a value-added tax. GST is a under GST the burden is on final consumer, the point which we saw over there. Then list the state and central taxes which got merged or subsumed with GST, which we saw. Then GST is a simplified tax structure. Justify the statement. It is a simple tax structure. Justify the statement. So basically they are talking about advantages. Before we had multiple types of taxes, now it is only one single types of taxes. There is uniform law, procedure, tax rates entire India. Classification of goods and services are very simple. Now I know whether a particular item will be called as supply of goods or supply of services, and then supply of goods or services or both. Next point, supply of this is an important question. This was asked for final level also, so it is an important question. Supply of goods or services or both are taxable under GST. Discuss the validity of this statement. Supply of all goods or services or both. Supply of all goods or services or both are taxable under GST law. The statement is basically invalid. GST is a tax which is levied on supply of goods or services or both, except on alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So on alcoholic liquor for human consumption, GST is not levied, pre-GST taxes are levied. And further, there are 5 products which is HPMAN, high speed diesel, petroleum crude, motor spirit, aviation turbine fuel and natural gas. On these 5 products, GST is not been levied as on today. On the current date, GST is not levied. But on these 5 products, GST will be levied on a future date as may be notified by the government. Government is going to notify that date. And there are products like alcoholic liquor for human consumption and opium, Indian hype, etc. On this GST as well as pre-GST taxes are levied. Okay, so it is not a tax on supply of all different types of goods and services. So discuss the functions of common portal, which we just now saw. That may be other type of question. What is GST Council? Discuss the recommendation which can be given by it, and what are the benefits of GST. So this is all about your first chapter. I hope you enjoyed learning this first chapter. So yeah, this is how the revision will happen. We will be taking care of we'll revise, then we'll see the amendments which are there, and we'll see the questions. So by that, entire chapter, different aspects of the entire chapter you can see in one video only. So because this is revision, it will be fast, and it will not be detailed. I am assuming that you would have already studied the law, and now you just have to revise. So I will limit the videos, particular chapter videos, to 1 hour or 1.5 hours. So by this range, if I limit these videos, so there are say around 10 chapters, almost in 10 to 12 hours your entire revision should be over. So that is what my target is. So I will do accordingly only. I am planning to do it accordingly only. So yeah, let us meet in our next video. Till then, tada, bye bye, take care.